Dear students, today we are going to start the new chapter current electricity, and we will learn three topics today. One is quite familiar to you, the electric current, and then also Ohm's law we have already read in class 10, and so we will be learning about it once again, though we have learned it earlier. So something difference will be there, you will learn right now. Now the electric current, we have been defining electric current as the rate of flow of charge, means total charge flown per second. But now we are modifying it slightly in the sense that we calculate the amount of charge flown in per unit time when the time duration considered is as small as possible. Means the time duration is kept small, that gives us the instantaneous current through the conductor at any moment of time. Means for a small duration of time we take it as a point of time, and that way we define it something, current is defined as limit delta t tending to 0 ratio q upon delta t. Means the formula in true sense remains same, total charge flown by total time taken, but here we are considering the time duration to be as small as possible. Now the current is defined as charge by time, so the SI unit of current will be coulomb per second, that is unit for charge is coulomb and unit for time is second, and we call it coulomb per second. In the honor of ampere we call it ampere. So now one more thing we will learn today is that electric current is actually may behave like a scalar in general, but in some cases we need to take it as a vector, and therefore this quantity is called tensor. Means at one time it behaves like a scalar, and at some another specific in another specific situation it may behave like it may be taken as a vector. So that's all for electric current. Now we talk about Ohm's law. Ohm's law we have read earlier, and we again repeat that Ohm's law under invariant physical conditions. What are the physical conditions? Say for example temperature of the conductor, if the conductor is not solid, other factors may also affect, say for example the pressure, the density, the humidity, etc. All these will affect the conducting power of the conductor. So we in general we say under invariant physical conditions, and most of the cases it is taken as the temperature only. But in fact when we consider another material other than solid, if the conductor is a liquid, then in that case other factors other than the temperature may also affect its conductivity. So in general we talk about the under invariant physical conditions. We have just discussed the current flowing through the conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across it. Means say for example we have a conductor over here, and we apply a battery of 6 volt across it, then the current flowing through it will be half of that flowing through the conductor when we apply only 3 volt across the conductor. Means as we increase the potential, the current flowing through the conductor will also increase, and as we decrease the potential difference applied across the conductor, this is conductor, then as we reduce the potential difference applied across the conductor, current flowing through the conductor will also reduce. So this is the fact. So now based on this fact, Ohm's derived the law for it, and which is named after him. It is that under invariant physical conditions, current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across the conductor. More is the potential difference, greater will be the current flowing through it. So that means V is proportional to I, and in fact here we are writing it for our convenience, but in fact you see that current through the conductor is depending on the potential difference applied across the conductor. So it should have been written rather I is proportional to V, but either way we can write, and it is not wrong if we reverse the order and write that potential difference is proportional to the current flowing. And when we remove this proportionality sign, we have V is equal to IR, R is a constant, and this is known as resistance of the conductor, and this value R you can see is equal to V upon I. So resistance of a conductor is always constant provided the physical conditions are invariant. If the physical conditions changes, then the resistance, the ratio of V and I will also change. That means the resistance value of the conductor will change, and it must be noted by you that once we increase the potential difference applied across the conductor, then V value will increase. Say for example, we had just talked that if we increase it from 3 volt applied across the conductor to 6 volt applied across the conductor, what should happen? The current also flowing through the conductor should also double up. Means if V is increasing twice, then current should be also increasing twice, provided you keep the physical conditions unchanged. Means the temperature of the conductor is unchanged, the other factors which may affect the conductivity of the conductor are not changing. Only then the resistance of the conductor will remain unchanged, and in that case, the moment we change the value of potential difference, we double it, then current will also double up. If we reduce, potential difference is reduced to half of the previous value, current will also reduce half of the previous value, so the ratio V and I, V upon I, always remains same. That means the resistance of the conductor remains same. For invariant matlab means not changing the physical condition. Without changing the physical condition, if we increase the potential, current also increases by same ratio, and if we decrease the potential difference, the current also decreases by same ratio, so that the ratio V upon I always remains a constant. The SI unit of the resistance is a scalar quantity, and SI unit of resistance is voltage upon ampere, and we also call it ohm. The symbol for resistance is this ohm, in the honor of Ohm, who discovered this law. Now here we talk about expression for resistance of the conductor. You see, we have already seen that greater is the length of the conductor, the current flowing, the ratio V upon I, that is the resistance of the conductor, is increased. If the cross-sectional area of the conductor is greater, then the resistance of the conductor is decreased reciprocally. That means when we write, mathematically we write R is proportional to L, that is length of the conductor. Greater is the length, greater will be the resistance, and R is inversely proportional to cross-sectional area. Greater is the cross-sectional area, smaller will be the resistance. So keeping these two quantities together, we have R is proportional to L upon A, and from that we have R is equal to rho L by, we are eliminating proportionality sign by introducing a constant over here. This is rho, known as a specific resistance of the conductor, and its SI unit will be, you see here you have length in meter and cross-sectional area in meter square. So we are left finally with meter in the denominator. 1 meter in the numerator is cancelled by another meter in the denominator. So we are left with meter in the denominator. So that means SI unit of resistivity becomes R is given in ohm. So ohm, and 1 meter is carried from right to left. So it becomes ohm meter. This is the SI unit of resistivity, and resistivity of a conductor is always a constant under the invariant physical conditions, and the length and cross-sectional area remaining same and unchanged. So that's all for today. Thank you.